Welcome back to Crop Talk with Karston. This week, we are excited to be joined by Gary Heilig, president of Crop West Insurance. Gary probably needs no introduction, but nonetheless, he has been with been in the crop insurance industry for, I believe, 25 years now. Is that right, Gary?
27 this year.
27 years. He has been involved with multiple different aspects of the industry, from claims, VP and division manager of a major AIP, and now president of Crop West. Gary also understands the farmer's viewpoint of crop insurance, as he is part of his family farm in central Montana. Gary, we're happy to have you today.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate the invitation.
And I figured I'd wear the hat today. I've worn it a few times in the video. So some people might be wondering why I wear this hat sometimes, and then I guess why sometimes we market things as a proud partner of Crop West Insurance. Dukeshire Caproot is a proud member of Crop West Insurance Group. Can you describe what benefits that brings to our growers, Gary?
That's a great question. Education and information, I think, is kind of the cornerstones of what Crop West does, is to try to get the information out in a timely manner to the agents so that they can basically relay that important information to the growers so they can make the best decisions possible. So, as things come out from Washington, D.C., from RMA, from USDA, from FSA, all of those things are so important to farmers and to you guys as agents. So basically, I try to everything I can to get that information basically interpreted and making sure that kind of putting it into a format that's easy to understand, so that everybody kind of gets the gist of what they're doing back east, I guess, with a lot of those policy decisions and stuff. So getting the information out. I would say also getting the member agents access to carriers. We're down to very few crop insurance companies left that deliver the federal product. Compared to what we used to have in the early '80s, it's we've seen a lot of mergers and acquisitions and stuff. So we give access to 6 of the top carriers to the members, so that they can basically have choices for their growers and be able to compare rates for crop hail policies and name peril stuff like that. And then also providing IT tools to the Crop West member agents. Our Crop West Hail Helper that compares the prices of the crop insurance companies for crop hail products. And then having an artificial intelligence assistant available for you guys, so that you guys can do research and get answers back out to your growers in a much more efficient manner. So those are just some of the highlights of what we do. And then probably one of the bigger things is the retreats that we hold each year for the Crop West member agents, where we bring all of you guys together so that you guys can compare notes and be part of a larger community and share ideas that benefit all of you guys. I think that's another hidden gem inside of Crop West.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, your knowledge and those items are invaluable to us. And I think on the grower front, I know at least our people around this area, our grower meetings have grown probably substantially just having you there, because I think that anybody that takes the time to listen to you, I think, can realize the information that you have. And in an industry that, price is not really a factor. It's all the same. Information is king. So, it's been extremely valuable to us as an agency, being with Crop West, but also for our growers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm really looking forward to this fall and helping you guys with your grower meetings once again. We have so much to talk about this fall, with the one big beautiful bill being passed and all of the unbelievable improvements that are coming to crop insurance and FSA and stuff like that. So we got a lot of great things to talk about. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that kind of leads me to my next question, being with all the many changes that we have seen recently in the crop insurance industry, whether it's from the bill that you just talked about, margin coverage option being added, list goes on and on. Obviously, it's hard because everybody, not one thing fits each. It's not a one size fit all. But which of these changes do you think are going to be the most impactful for growers in this area?
Well, I would say it, there's quite a few, but if I had to pick kind of the most impactful ones, I would say the increased subsidies that are going to be coming for the individualized coverage for the underlying policies, revenue protection, yield protection, depending on your coverage level. Those new subsidies are anywhere from 3 to 5%. So that makes it more affordable for the farmers to buy up higher coverage levels. I think that's a huge thing. Now, because of contract change dates and when the bill was signed, we won't see that on wheat this fall, but that will continue to roll through and we will see increases. I also think SCO increases to subsidy as well as the coverage level on SCO is a major benefit to the farmers of Montana. SCO has been a great product for the state of Montana. Now you have actually higher insurance coverage up to 90% on the area, plus increased subsidy to 80%. So I think that allows growers to not only, if they've only been buying it on their wheat or one crop, I think that this new affordability and expanded coverage allows them to buy it on all of their crops. I just think you're going to see an explosion of SCO, kind of like the explosion we saw of ECO last year when they increased the subsidies. So I think we'll see a lot of that. They did it for optional units and basic units, but it was originally scheduled to be for enterprise units only, and then that got changed last minute. But I don't want the folks on enterprise units to. I think there's some things that you need to be aware of. Is there are rules inside of crop insurance about parity with coverage levels between plans and different things like that. So it would not surprise me if there wasn't a later addition to additional subsidies for enterprise units. That wouldn't surprise me because of the crop insurance rules that are in place. So I think that I wouldn't rule that out. And then I think that the last thing I would say, as far as the major impacts to Montana farmers and ranchers, is going to be the extension and the increase of subsidies for beginning farmer and ranchers. Originally, that was included to include veteran farmer and ranchers as well, but that got stripped out at the last minute. So it's for beginning farmers and ranchers, and they're going to see increased subsidies the first 2 years that they qualify, and then it's going from 5 years to a 10 years maximum eligibility now, where we'll gradually reduce down to a 10% subsidy, but last for 10 years. So those are major changes that are going to help a lot of the beginning farmers and ranchers in the state of Montana.
Mm-hmm. And I know you're the type of guy that would have this on the off the top of your head probably, but I mean, just to show, I guess, the support for crop insurance, how much funding, I guess, is that basically setting aside to the crop insurance industry from that bill?
Well, the total impact to agriculture was over 60 billion, over 66 billion is the total. I believe the increased subsidy was over 6 billion just for funding to increase subsidies for growers. So, I mean, we're talking about major numbers out there. So these are all great things. And, normally, we've been on an extension of our farm bill since 23. Normally we wouldn't, we would be happy to get one or two of these of types of improvements. To get all of them in one bill was a major win for agriculture, and it's going to, you're going to see it and you're going to feel it in the expansion of crop insurance and how many people, we already have very high participation rates in crop insurance, but that's going to continue to grow, and people are going to be buying better coverage levels, getting more insurance, and being better protected, which is all great for the state of Montana and all states for that matter.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess just to feed off of what you're saying, I mean, in my opinion, farmers and ranchers, when fall rolls around and you're finished up harvesting, whether it's Dukeshire Caproot's grower meeting or somebody else's grower meeting, I mean, getting that information is going to be very important because there is a tremendous amount of change coming for the 26 crop year. And so I guess like we talked about the amount of change just in 1 year, but like we talked about your 27 years of experience in the crop insurance industry. I mean, if you were to just kind of take a look back at your career, how much could you describe, I guess, how much has crop insurance evolved over that time? And then how do you foresee it evolving in the next, 20, 30 years?
The change in my career has been transformational. And, we went from, for so many years, with just yield based products that didn't cover revenue. And when we got to CRC back in the day and finally started going down what I believe is the correct road of risk management, which was including, price fluctuation and loss of revenue, that changed the world. And we've just only expanded on that. And it just continues every year to grow and get better with new products. Some of the things that I see in the future is going to be a further expansion of revenue products. I think you'll see it for additional ways and means of covering revenue, because that's certainly what is being demanded by the American farmer right now. I think you'll see an expansion of additional specialty crops getting their own MPCI coverage available. I think we'll continue to see that play out. I think we'll see new livestock insurance products as we move forward. That market, we're just at the infancy of insuring against perils for livestock ranchers, America's ranchers. So I think we'll see some increases in that. I also think because of rising input costs and the challenges that the farmers are facing today with low commodity prices and high input costs, I think we'll continue to see the demand increase for margin type products that protect against basically the shrinking of margins. I think that those types of products make sense. So I think that CLIP, the new crop and livestock income protection policy that's going to be unveiled this year, this coming spring in the Great Plains states. I'd love to. Can't wait to see how that works. That's a simplified version, basically, of kind of a whole farm revenue umbrella policy type. I think we could see some great sales in that if it's administered right and the rules are written correctly. It seems to be a very much simpler version of an umbrella type policy. So I think those are kind of the things that we're going to see. And I think our industry always kind of meets the needs or is working to solve problems and help meet the needs of America's growers trying to, manage their risks. So, but I think input costs are at top of everybody's mind right now. Is how do we solve for that problem? Is how do we help these farmers mitigate risk against, very, very high input costs?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that brings me to my next question for you. Is I don't think people probably realize how involved you are on, kind of a higher level, government side, I guess, of being involved with SEPA and, whether it's kind of putting your ideas in the grain growers or whatever it is, I mean, I guess with being involved with SEPA and other organizations that have had an impact on lobbying for farmers and ranchers, on that level, what are some items that you are actively, trying to lobby for, or you think that could have a impact on down the road, maybe, a year or two, that are kind of actively lobbying for that maybe they could look out for in the pretty near future?
Yeah, I would say, we lobbied, heavily and educated tirelessly at SEPA, during the last, trying to get a farm bill done and then switching over to the reconciliation process and stuff. We've been very steadfast in our support of better risk management tools for America's farmers. We got a lot of the things that we were working for. I guess now we're kind of switching gears and trying to get a skinny farm bill through. Basically, the remainders of that, I think, government shutdowns and pending things that could happen over those types of things need to get resolved. If they don't, we'll see another extension of the farm bill. I think that's somewhat likely when we get to the end of September this year is another extension of that. And then I'd say looking forward, what we're really kind of pushing right now is, and we do it in a very thoughtful way, but we basically encourage USDA and FSA to kind of the things that we're working on now is to try to encourage them to try to get the like stage 2 of the SDRP, get that rolled out. There's a September 15th kind of anticipation date of when they would start that. We would love to see that sooner rather than later because of the need for it right now with low commodity prices and high input costs and interest rates for America's farmers. That's kind of, we encourage them to kind of, if they can move faster on that, move faster. They really can't right now, but once they get to the August 15th ECAP, if you remember ECAP, which came out in March, they've spent 7.8 billion of that total allotted funds. So I believe there will be a top-up payment for a certain percentage of prorated across for America's farmers. We've highly encouraged them to get that out as soon after that deadline as possible because of the need to American farmers. We also support the AIPs. We would support them deferring interest costs if they could this fall, considering how wet it's been in the Midwest and corn and soybean harvests and things like that. High interest rates. If they could, in the past, prior to last year, there had been multiple years of deferring interest to help the America's farmers out. Where SEPA is supportive of picking that back up and doing that again for this year. So those are some of the things we're trying to do everything we can to try to support America's farmers and try to get them through this what's going to be a pretty rough patch with low commodity prices and stubbornly high input costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I guess that's really all I had for you. I guess the last question I had for you is just, do you have any closing remarks or anything that comes to mind for you, for anybody that's listening or watching?
I would echo your comments. Is even if it can be a Dutra Caproot grower meeting or whatever, get to as many meetings as you can this fall, whether it's with us or not. Try to listen to as many podcasts as possible that are talking about SDRP. That is the rollout on that has been a little less than transparent. So I think that any information that you can pick up on that would be helpful to you. And then when the secondary part, phase 2 of SDRP, when those rules are announced, we're going to do everything we can to get that information out to growers as fast as possible. Kind of be on the lookout for additional meetings and information from you and from CropWest, because that's really all that we're trying to do, is educate farmers on all of these different things so that they can make the best choices possible.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you later.
All right. Good to see you again.
Yeah. Good to see you, Gary. See you later.
All right. Bye.